Howdy everyone, it is the Solo Gamer, and doing a bit of a side video here. Let me adjust something real quick. I'm going to turn down the game audio just a bit. I'm not really doing the game vid. I got something on my mind I gotta talk about, and if if it helps you to know what I'm about to talk about, it's currently midnight 9/11/2025, and I've had some time to think about yesterday's events. To that impact,
Our city burns. We must rescue it.
agreed.
Initiating FTL jump to the Crimsica system.
But yesterday at an event in Utah, right wing, well, yeah, right wing's probably correct. Although
FTL jump.
I'd say he was more of a conservative than anything. But Charlie Kirk, the online right wing debater and activist, was shot and killed during an event in Utah where he was having one of his Change My Mind tours. And from what we know so far, there's no specifics about it that we're sure of. But what we know at the moment is it apparently was a deliberate effort. It was a single shooter, one shot, and he was killed. He was killed by the blood loss from the injury a short while later after they got him to the hospital. And honestly, I used to watch his stuff a lot. It's actually one of the things that sort of got me to realize just how absolutely effed up shit is in the world, and start to have a bit more of a awareness of the things going on around me. I usually keep I don't shy away from politics, but I usually keep my personal viewpoints strictly to a limited content. I don't normally like bringing them into game related stuff, but it'd be boring to just talk to a black screen. Anyway, but for me, the biggest issue is not just that he was killed, which I find, honestly, I have such blind range about that it took me, I had to dive into the pool for an hour to cool off and clear my head. I was so enraged by that event. But what really bothers me more than anything is the fact that, despite the fact that this happened, there's actually people on the left who are cheering this shit. And I've said before, I very much believe many of the people on the left are demented and psychotic people. Now, I realize that's not all people on the left, but the number that I've seen is actually incredibly frightening. Charlie Kirk was a lot of things, but he was never a violent person, nor was he ever a person who sought out conflict. Instead, he very much wanted the discussion. He wanted the debate. That's why he did what he did. And in a lot of ways, I feel the bigger problem here is that, and this is going to sound mean, but I don't care anymore. The reason this happened was because the left was so upset at how often he embarrassed and humiliated them in public that when words failed them, their only retort was violence. And I don't apologize for calling out what I see as clearly demonic and unhinged behavior. Charlie Cook invited people to challenge him, invited people to come up and try and stand on the same level as him. And many of them, truthfully, would do so. They'd try and stand up, and when they lost, or got annihilated by his logic and sound reasoning, they'd either accept it and actually, learn a lesson, or they would spit out some hateful rhetoric and then immediately run away because, well, as the old saying goes, cowards often bark the loudest. But that's more to the point I'm making is Charlie Kirk has probably got more W's under his belt for debate than most professional debate specialists. And most of it was simply that he was logical and reasonable enough to not buy into the bullshit that so much of our media spews. He did his research, he studied the histories, he learned the lessons, and he made it a point that he would not stand by and simply accept what he was told. I was lucky enough that I had parents that taught me the same, which is why I don't typically just buy into whatever one media group or another is saying. I usually try to find out more info. But with this whole situation with Charlie, it's a perfect example of how far the left has fallen. That the group that claims tolerance and acceptance and empathy has none. They haven't had none for any. It's not about tolerance or acceptance or compassion or any of that nonsense. It's about power and them using shit like empathy and compassion to try and shield themselves from accountability. Well, too late. Now the floodgate is open. There's been 5 scalps claimed in the last 3 hours of people on the left who have lost their jobs, lost their careers, lost their reputations. I'm sorry. I feel no sympathy for these people. None. They brought this on themselves by being abhorrent, inhuman scum, and I, for one, am glad to see them paying the penalties. It is past time we stopped indulging these psychopaths and start putting them in their place again. Put them back on the notice that this is not acceptable behavior. And I get it. Like, we wanted to have the honest discussion. We wanted to have the debate. I get that. So did Charlie. And they fucking shot him for it. So no more. No, none. I want every license pulled. I want every academic investigated. I want every college defunded. Until all this woke bullshit is removed from our society, no more. No more mercy. No more tolerance. We will, one way or another, leave them ruined and destroyed. And it is up to them if they want to come back to the table and be reasonable, or if they're going to continue being these inhuman scumbags. I rightly don't give a shit which they choose. I only care that they will eventually get decimated for their actions. I know, that sounds cruel, that sounds mean, and I'm sorry. I don't like that this is where I am, that this is where my headspace is. But at some point or another, we have got to stop indulging these crazies. We have got to stop allowing them to get away with this shit. I'm the first to acknowledge that I want to be understanding and lenient and tolerant. You don't get too far in life if you only seek vengeance. I get that part. But at what point do you say enough? I think for over half the country, today was the day where they said enough. I don't like it. I don't like that we're here. I don't like that we've gotten to this point. I would rather we be able to make the arguments with words instead of bullets. But at some point or another, there comes a point where you can't negotiate with evil anymore. And the Democrats have proven beyond any doubt that they are evil. That they are disgusting and unfeeling and unworthy to live in a polite society. And I get that some people would say, but how is that fair? Like, not all liberals are insane leftists. And yeah, you're right. There is truth to that. And I won't dispute that. But at some point, if your side is still not willing to punish the people causing this madness, don't expect us to hold any sympathy for you. Never. Never. I will never, ever show sympathy for these people again. And I get it. If some people think that's going too far, I understand. And I won't hold it against you if you didn't want to watch my videos anymore. I wouldn't blame you. Perhaps there is a point where you just can't get along. And I don't know that that's where we ever wanted to be, but that's where we are. But at the end of the day, the only question I have left to ask is, when is too far too far? There was a chance we could have, at one point or another, made this work. Like, we could have found a way through. And I will give credit where it's due. There are a number of Democrats who are calling this shit out right now. Many centrists, even some on the left, are saying, this is too far. Like, this is not acceptable anymore. The problem is, a lot of these same people were calling for violence not too long ago. You cannot expect me to take their words seriously when they spent months and months and months calling for Trump's execution, calling for the execution of people like Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously. You created the exact same conditions. You now act like they're reprehensible? No. You made the scenario happen, and that is all on you. You may not like it, you may not want to hear it, but that's the truth. And if you cannot and will not acknowledge that and back away from the ledge, we'll just let you fall. None of us will care. None of us will mind. We'll walk away and just be glad there's one less psychopath on the street. This is where we are as a country. Two halves of the country want to kill each other. But the problem is, the thing is, the left doesn't recognize this fact. The right has held back for years. We have held back. We have restrained ourselves. And we have avoided conflict because for many of us, that conflict isn't worth it. Now that may have changed. I am, at this point, past the point where I care enough I am past the point of caring about niceties or politeness or any of that nonsense. I really am. I very much no longer have any restraint or hesitation. I will just as soon request the immediate dissolution of the Democratic Party and all leftist media if it means that something like this never happens again. Funny that I can somehow... I'm just basically autopiloting a level 3 right now. Also, testing out the spear gun. I like the spear gun. It is one of my new favorite weapons. But that being said, right now, if you are on the left and you are understandably mortified by what happened with Charlie Kirk, you're not alone. All of us on all sides feel similar. About the only people who don't seem to hold this is the media and a small but vocal number of insane leftists. And the best thing you can do is make sure, especially on social media and online, find them, report them, bring their actions to the attention of those that employ them. A lot of us on the right, And I mostly consider myself a libertarian sort of centrist these days, but I'm far more right than left, to be sure. That's an undeniable fact. But if many of us on the right watched as they turned cancel culture against us for years, we're done being nice about it. We're going to turn their same weapons right back on them with the hope that once we've done our part, we will have basically swept the board of the worst offenders, and there will be little to no one left when we're done. Eat fire, you giant overgrown freak show. I do also love the new AR. The Coyote is awesome. Explosive incendiary rounds. My new favorite. Ooh. I do wish it came with a drum mag. I really do. Like, this is the exact kind of thing that drum mag is built for. Large, heavy-duty, violence displacement effect. Basically, pest control at mammoth levels. But the spear gun and the AR make for fantastic crowd control. But what's even more interesting is that the spear gun has hella good armor pen and does like insanely good damage. Plus, when it releases the gas cloud, that causes a mammoth, and I mean gigantic, side effect where anything in the immediate vicinity, unfortunately that includes friendlies, gets more or less gassed into nothingness. I mean, it's just the world's worst can of raid, I suppose, but hey, it works.
Sending down equipment package. Extraction shuttle inbound.
But yesterday's events have had me in a state of sadness and rage that I felt would probably be easiest dealt with if I just got my voice out there. Oh crap. That was a mistake. That was an error on my part.
ETA T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds.
See, the best thing about the spear gun is even if you don't hit directly, a close enough is a close enough because you still get them with the gas cloud and it's very efficient.
You must not allow
Oh, shut up.
to perish.
It shouldn't be ringing into my gas clouds.
ETA T-minus 1 minute.
I could do so much fucking collateral damage if I wanted to right now. Let's send it this way.
ETA T-minus 30 seconds. ETA T-minus 20 seconds.
Our citizens depend on you for their
I think I just nuked an entire civilian patrol.
ETA T-minus 10 seconds. Clear.
Oh yeah, that was a bad choice. I'm getting no requisition for this one.
This is Pelican 1. I have visual on the extraction zone. Pelican 1, landing in progress. Extraction complete.
Yeah, we're out.
Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
You will forever be remembered as heroes of this
There we go. So how much did I lose? I'm pretty sure I didn't get anything back because of all the penalties. There we go. Alright, so
Priority.
back again and covered in blood, of course. But yeah, for whatever reason on my mind was I had this feeling that somewhere along the way I had to voice what was going on in the back of my head, and honestly I don't feel any sympathy or any regret towards my anger at the left right now. I feel like the only way we're solving this problem now is to completely ostracize them, get them pushed out, removed, put aside, exiled, deported. I don't give a shit. At this point, they've proven themselves unworthy of being in polite society, and the only possible course of action is to remove them outright. I know that's going to sound mean, but at this juncture I stopped caring. I stopped caring. That being said, it's going to get worse before it gets better. This is not the end of the matter. This is just the start. This is going to set off a firestorm, and there will be massive calls for all kinds of actions. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I guarantee you that if there isn't some major reformation on this, things here could get as bad, if not worse, than they are in the UK. And I promise you, unlike in the UK with its pussified weakling Keir Starmer, Trump is not going to be there to arrest the patriots. He's going to be there to put the beat down on the leftists, on the people who have lionized and championed this violence. Trump will bring a hammer down on them, and he will. I don't know how he's going to do it. He may make it he may do something crazy like make vigilante justice legal. He may create an entire police force just to start policing the left. We should not be at this point. We shouldn't have had ever gotten here. We wouldn't have if the left hadn't lost its fucking marbles in 2016 and never got them back. All I know at this point is left, right, center, whatever. Be careful. This shit's getting worse. Learn how to defend yourself. Carry where you can. Be prepared. Always have some sort of defensive measure with you at all times. One thing I do hope Trump does is legalizes and fully federalizes the right to self-defense. From here on in, if you're attacked and you defend yourself, or if someone defends another who you are attacking, no prosecution, no crime. You attack someone, like that scumbag in Charlotte. He shouldn't have made it off the train. Someone should have drew down and put rounds through his face right there and then. And everyone in that car was a fucking coward. I can't even blame them because they live in a city so fucking stupid that the mayor who allowed that monster in Charlotte to murder that young refugee just got reelected. No, you get what you vote for. And if blood and carnage is what you vote for, that's what you're going to get. Well, we aren't going to tolerate it here. The rest of this country is awake and ready to kill. We are going to fight. We are going to fight back hard. And if it comes to violence, we will defend ourselves. And I hate that we're at that point. I made a joke once. about the character Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and the joke was only partially in humor. I made the notation that how is it that this guy gets more and more accurate and more relevant every year that passes from his game's launch? And some people were like, "What do you mean?" And I pointed out all the shit he talked about and how it relates to the current situation. And a lot of people were like, "Okay, yeah, no, that's kind of fucking creepy." And I pointed it out that it's Hideo Kojima predicting the future fucking again. Not exactly his first time at the rodeo either, but at the end of the day, this only gets solved when the left either admits and acknowledges their issue and starts taking action, or they are forcefully taken out of the playing field. Just, debank, delicense, remove them from authority, take them out of education, all of it. Just start removing them. As I said, we shouldn't be at this point. But after yesterday, we are at this point. I don't like it. I hate it. I despise that we've gotten this far, but I don't see any other alternative. Honestly, if it were up to me, there's about a dozen names. And the first will be whoever the shooter was. But there are others. Politicians, journalists, so-called journalists, activists, all of whom bear responsibility for where we are right now. I'd put them on blocks in front of Madison Square Garden and let the axe fall. If it would stop any more of this from happening, if it would get the left back to the table to actually be reasonable again, I would volunteer. And I hate that. I hate that that's where we got. End of the day, I prefer my conflict digital, not real. I prefer my violence simulated, not authentic. Conflict is better when it's made for sport or for fun or for humor, instead of it being, for life. And a man lost his life, a man with a family and children. All because the left can't keep the word Nazi out of their mouth. I'd say from here on in, you use that word to describe anyone, and you can't prove it, instant slander lawsuit, $1 million fine, immediately. No argument, no processing. Done within 48 hours. I guarantee you, that shuts some people up immediately. But that's for someone higher up than me to decide. I don't know how it's going to handle, but I know the administration's going to see this as the golden opportunity to finally break the back of the left. The left, for years, tried to put the right out of action, tried to minimize us, humiliate us, shame us. Well, we don't care anymore. We're coming, and you can't stop us this time. No courts, no support. We run the House now. We have all three branches, and we will remove any judge, any prosecutor, anyone who gets in the way. They're going to be pushed aside. This is the end of it, and the only question is, does it end in quiet peace or bloodshed? I'm hoping for the former, but I have worries that we might end up in the latter. No matter what, you need to keep safe and keep your heads on a swivel from now on. Because as Charlotte and Utah proved, it can happen anywhere at any time. And it's only going to get worse. Anyway, this is the Solo Gamer, signing out for the night. I've got some more stuff coming in the next few days, more positive stuff. Stuff I pre-recorded before this incident happened. But I've got more retro game stuff, more PC gaming stuff, a few odds and ends. So hopefully it'll all be good stuff. But yeah, stay safe out there, folks, and try your best not to let yourself get in a position where you're stuck between these two problems. Keep your eyes open, keep your heads on swivel, and stay safe until hopefully this all comes to a close and things are cooled down a bit. But whoever celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, I hope you rot in hell, and I hope you lose everything, all of you. I will hope to see you all begging for change on the corner before long, like the subhuman scum you are. I'm out. See you later.